What's up, millionaires? It's your boy Millionaire E coming at you with a comic review. Now, the comic we're going to be talking about are a few of the comics that I got from Free Comic Book Day. Now, I know that this is the last week of May and Free Comic Book Day was like a second ago, but I had showed the comics that I had on Instagram, but I didn't get to show it to y'all. So I'm going to show y'all the comics that I got and some of the comics that I got from Free Comic Book Day. So first one you got are, this is the Street Fighters Forever comic. This one, it was an interesting comic. I play a little bit of the Street Fighter, and so it's a story about, I hope I pronounce his name right, Ryu, and he's fighting like different not past versions of himself, but different like people. Like he ends up fighting Ken, a couple of other characters I did not know, and they also have a story that talks about, it's between Viper and Yuri, who like they basically double cross each other, and then they still like each other. They steal the people they were protecting's money, and they end up going on vacation. So then we also have here, let me see, I'll grab this one right here. This is Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. This comic, I don't think it's like it's a comic tie-in, I just saw it right there, but it kind of shows, Batman's kind of gliding around the city trying to find I think something to eat. And what's interesting, if y'all didn't know, of course, Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, it's already out. I want to get the game, but I'm gonna wait till the price goes down. And if y'all don't know about Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, I'm just gonna tell you, it is a love story to like Batman fans, because it's everything you would think from a Batman game and Lego version. Brave and the Bold, the movies, the comics, all that is like incorporated into that. So this one was a nice one. And here, this one, Avengers Armageddon, I really didn't understand part of it, because it's Red Hulk here, and he's like basically fighting against the Avengers, and it looks like it's like different like Red Hulk's like army and stuff. And then there's also where you get to see the X-Men, not in the same story. And then the last part, it's a story of a Doombot. Like how a Doombot is kind of like, he's working for Doom and stuff. He's telling about his life, and he dies at the end, and they're like, he was only a Doombot. And we've got, y'all, of course, I love Lilo and Stitch, so I got a Lilo and Stitch comic. This one is more where the story of this is basically like how Jumba creates a hair gel that creates pompadours, and anyone who has that pompadour on their head is literally like, everybody who's attracted to them, they want to follow them. So Stitch ends up getting like the hair gel on his hair. He grows a pompadour. Everybody's so infatuated with him, so they're chasing him around the entire city. So it's an interesting story. But I was like, I've seen the Stitch comics. The only thing I really like, I like Lilo and Stitch because of the different types of aliens that they've got, like the different experiments, how they all look really wacky and stuff. So I haven't really read any of the Stitch comics. Here we get this one right here. This is the Sonic. I know this one's already been out, but this is the Sonic and DC crossover between the Justice League. And I was like, it looks cool, but I was just like, it's also kind of weird because you got like Sonic, and then he's standing alongside with like Batman, Superman, the Flash. And I was like, it was just weird. But as I read it, I was like, you know what? Actually, this would be something that I would pick up. I'd actually pick it up if I saw it. And here we've got this one right here. This is the Mega Man Showdown Special. Y'all know I love me my Mega Mans right here. So this story includes Mega Man EXE, but then it also has a story between Proto Man and Brass. So it's like a fight between them, and then you have that side story right there of EXE. Now, I've never played, or it's Battle Network. I've never played Mega Man Battle Network, so I don't know a lot about it. But it seems kind of similar to Mega Man Star Force. Except I do know that there's some differences. So I do actually like this comic. The art was really good with this one, and the story was nice. Now, the last free comic I'm gonna show y'all, and then I'll get into the comics that I actually bought. I'm just gonna give a warning here. I always on my videos say these are not for children, but if there's a kid watching, I'm gonna just say it real quick. Do not buy this comic. Because this comic is very violent, very crude, a lot of stuff. So this is the comic Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl. So this story, from what I understand, is simply put I believe it's a book based off of, no, webtoon. I've read the webtoon, and then the comic's coming out based off of a book. And what this story is about is, this is a guy named Carl, and his world ends up getting like transported into this dungeon game show, death game show, and he's partnered with his ex, pet cat, Donut, Princess Donut. So he's having to fight these different like goblins and different monsters, but it is very gory, because like literally in this comic, spoiler alert y'all, there is a scene where literally there's somebody gets decapitated. So if you're a child, you might want to pull the reins on this. But it's an interesting version. I've read the webtoon, and I'm continuing to read because I believe it's like the season 2 has just came out, so I'm starting to read that. So it's a good one. Now, let's get into these 2 comics that I got. So I'm gonna start with the Marvel and DC one. So this comic, I'd say that the cover looks really good. Love it. Love the cover. I didn't gel with it, and the reason why is because I was like, when I'm reading like the Deadpool and the Batman story, I'm gonna be real honest, was like really confusing to me, because until I was like, oh, it's in like their minds, because Cassandra, I think it's Xavier X's sister, was like trying to get something, but it was like the whole thing was confusing. Like Batman starts out being in like the Court of Owls labyrinth with Deadpool, then they're in some type of like farmland, then Deadpool throws him into the Lazarus pit and he becomes like Bat Wolverine, and then at the end you see Deadpool Batman. So I was kind of puzzled with it. I was like, it's not my type. And then another thing, like with some of the stories in there, they had, I believe, it was Nightwing and X-23. That story, that was fine. That was cool. Didn't read the Constantine or the Doctor Strange one. The Hulk and Harley Quinn, I was like, I'm not really a fan of Harley Quinn anyways. And then the Static Shock and Miss Marvel, although those are 2 characters that I do like, I really did not like the art, because y'all know the art is how I get into like reading it. So I was like, this was, for me, it was kind of a hit and miss for me. And this comic right here, this is Mega Man X, and this is the 2nd issue. I couldn't find like the first one. Also, I was like, this was good, but I was like, I mean, I'll pick it up. And the only reason why I'm saying that, I'm not trying to down it or anything, it's like, I never really got into, I saw it, I was like, hey, you know what, let me try it. I never really got into Mega Man X, because I've played, which is interesting, because I've played Mega Man 0, which I believe is I don't know, I think it's before or after X, and Mega Man ZX, which I know is after X as well. But I've never read them. I do know that this kind of like, this one, they had like 3 different comics, like I believe it was Mega Man, just the first Mega Man, like the original guy, and then it was 0, X, ZX, and Lugnut, I believe his name is. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, I didn't play that one, but they had those comics out, and then they, of course, when I think a lot of people like the Mega Man X series, so they decided to do another one. I do know that, back in the Archie, they did have a Mega Man series. I just didn't read it. The only place I've seen like Mega Man X in comics was like in the crossover between him, Mega Man, the original one, and Sonic fighting against Sigma. But yeah, this one I was like, I really didn't like it, because I was like, I guess for me, when I like Mega Man, I like how the Robot Masters look. And I'm saying like how they look goofy, and this one was more like animal based, so that's kind of why it kind of threw me off. But yeah, these are all the comics I got. And remember, you know, I know Free Comic Book Day is over, but remember to, you know, mark your calendars for next year. It's, I believe, the 2nd of May, because, you know, then there's May the 4th, literally after. So remember, y'all, like the video, and if y'all read any of the comics, tell me what y'all thought about them. Remember, like the video, share it with your family, subscribe with that bell icon to be notified for more videos. And I'll see you on the next video, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bless, same winners. I'll see you later. Bye.